Let's just set these aside. Okay, no, I did not just buy those. This video, quick and dirty, is a special request from Brad at Tech Webcast. So cheers to you, Brad. And if you see me bundled up in my robe, it's because this is easily the coldest day this year. It's currently 38 degrees. Bear in mind, I'm in Southern California, so this is pretty close to the coldest it gets here. Yeah, and this request comes from someone that is currently experiencing their summer down in Australia. So interesting. All right, so he requested that I show some of my favorite CDs. As you see, there's a ton to go through. There, I looked all over the place. Unfortunately, my CDs are scattered. Most of them are boxed away. I looked and looked and looked, and there's at least one that I just could not find. And I was very upset about it because it's one of my favorite albums right now. Anyway, let's go through this quickly. So, the first one, we have Zoot Suit Riot by the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. This is a classic of swing revival or ska. Fantastic. This Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, also known as Is, Alone in Is World. This is fantastic just for the cover of Over the Rainbow. I mean, hands down, he has the best version. Hands down. And that song has been done dozens and dozens of times, if not hundreds. This used to get a lot of spin time. Thrice, the artist in the ambulance. Still like it. You know, it's kind of emo, screamo, that sort of thing. A shout out to Mr. Scott Waters, one of my ultimatum CDs, Symphonic Extremities. Excellent Christian thrash speed metal. Yeah, fantastic. Scott does the vocals. A classic from my youth, The Art of Noise, Invisible Silence. Fantastic stuff. Uncle, science fiction. Rabbit in the Headlights featuring Tom York. Wow. One of my best or favorite bands to come out of the 80s, Tears for Fears, Elemental. I could have picked any of their albums. This was a blind buy, kind of like Radiohead, and there was another band that was a closer comparison. I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but this is Pilot Drift, Watersphere. Fantastic stuff, like indie rock, basically. A classic album from one of my favorite artists, Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And this was actually given to me by someone in the vinyl community. It's been a while, so another shout out to Ron Anderson. This is fantastic. This is one of his many musical projects, the Oblique Quartet, and this is Tlaloc Beat. Fantastic album. If you like if you like experimental music, or even avant-garde might be a better description, actually. Jazz. Okay, so Sunny Side Up We have Dizzy Gillespie, Sonny Rollins, and Sonny Stitt. Oh my gosh, need I say more? This, it doesn't get a lot of play right now, but I still think it's a fantastic album. Cold War Kids, Robbers and Cowards. Robbers and Cowards. Fantastic. You can't go wrong with Merle Haggard. This is Prison. I think it's all songs related to prison. So, yeah. Love Merle. Pete Yorn is just one of those. He's right up there with Jeff Buckley and Rufus Wainwright. I'd put him right up there. This is Day I Forgot. Oh, another fantastic album. Nada Surf. High Low. Fantastic. This was a blind buy. It's been a long time since I listened to this. Actually, it needs to get more spins. But this is People and Planes as far as the eye can see. It was a blind buy. Fantastic listen. Yeah. Indie rock, basically. I guess I'm not sure if they're considered heavy metal, but Skunk and Nancy, Post Orgasmic Chill. I love everything they do. They're just amazing, brilliant. Another shout out to someone in the vinyl community, Alan Doss, drummer for Galactic Cowboys. And this is the self-titled. Yeah, very cool. Sort of progressive metal. One of my favorite bands, I actually discovered them when they were an unsigned band on mp3.com, back when mp3.com had independent artists. There goes the CDs. It was bound to happen. And I've loved them ever since. Everything they put out. They've since switched to just like I think a Christian rock duo, maybe. I could be wrong about that. This, I believe this was a blind buy, or I'm not sure how I heard this one, but Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. Fantastic bluesy rock. Oh, man. Ray LaMontagne, Supernova. Madeline, just come on up. Oh, she says down there groaning and yeah, Supernova. Yeah, what can you say about him? Another shout out to someone in the vinyl community, Brett Helm, lead singer for Audra, and this is Everything Changes. Fantastic sort of indie rock with a goth vibe. Oh man, Tone Loc, Loked After Dark. Oh. Highwaymen. The Road Goes On Forever. I could have picked any other albums. That was just, fantastic. Genre-defying Christian rock. Yes, the dog, she's going crazy. This is not going to be a quick and dirty video, let's face it. I had to pull out too many CDs for this. So Jars of Clay, this was just genre-defying because the song Flood was like a huge hit for them. Huge hit. Deservedly so. Ah! Oh, that deserves a drink because this isn't going to be a quick and dirty video. Let's just face it. I shouldn't even be drinking from this mug. All right. So, John Densmore from The Doors, um, fairly recently, 2006, had this project called Tribal Jazz, sort of world infused jazz. Very, very good stuff. Okay, now Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's ironic that I chose this album because, first of all, I don't own a lot of their albums, and I'll tell you why. Because most of their albums, in my mind, are are roughly about 10 minutes too long. Um, their albums tend to run a little long for me. I don't know why. And yet, I chose the double album as a favorite just because it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It deserves two CDs. Favorite female country singer, Tanya Tucker, Fire to Fire. I don't have a lot of her stuff on CD, actually. So, I don't know that this is my favorite album by her, but it represents her, so I recommend it in that vein. And again, Supergrass. This is self-titled. I believe it's their second album, actually, or maybe even their third. I'm not sure. Um, Again, not their best album, but it represents them. I couldn't locate my copy of I Should Coco, so I mean that would be my pick. But I love Supergrass, one of my favorite bands, British indie rock. Um, yeah, they opened for Radiohead at the Hollywood Bowl. I was in heaven. Um, when in the mood, I love Fatboy Slim, and this is a good one. You've come a long way, baby. Yeah, songs on here got a lot of airplay. All right. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Brilliant. And sadly, there's only one of them left. Man, it's horrible. A fantastic, fantastic album. Probably in, if not in, then pretty close to my top 10. Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream. Man. Again, representative of the artist, Chet Baker, My Funny Valentine. Honestly, I could pick any of his, but my preference would be Sings and Plays from Let's Get Lost. Oh, man. But again, he's my favorite jazz musician, so any of it would work. Busta Rhymes. I played the heck out of this back in the day, and I still love it. So this is When Disaster Strikes. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. We're not going to call it a comeback album because they've been around. So Cheap Trick, Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. Oh man, they still have it. They deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A shout out to Trish Mullins who gave me this one. Oh my gosh, George Harrison. Again, on many days, he's my favorite Beatle. All Things Must Pass. Oh. Okay, now I mentioned him earlier. Jeff Buckley, Grace. Um, I just listened to this the other day. Oh my gosh, just stunning, a stunning album. And he actually has track 6. He has my favorite version of Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Yeah, and I mean Rufus Wainwright has a really good one, but that one's better. Don't Tell the Wife. So excited about this album. I still love it and I still spin it frequently. Frequently. One of the best albums of 2016. The Monkees' Good Times. What if this is their final album? What a swan song, man. Oh man. And I hope this is not her last album. Jane Sibrey. Um, just for a quick comparison, I would compare her to uh, Laurie Anderson. Although, they're different enough that, they're not that similar, but you can kind of put them together. In other words, you could kind of see them working together on a project. Yeah, yeah. But this album just came out. Um, Angels Bend Closer. It's brilliant. It brought me to tears, actually. Absolutely brilliant. It's right up there with her best, which is The Walking from 1987, 88, 87. This one is just from this year, of course, 2016. Absolutely brilliant. She puts out her own music. Man. In a completely different direction, some Scandinavian metal. Very, very dark and heavy, and I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, but I love this band, Dimmu Borgir. Um, in Sorte Diaboli. I just slaughtered that title. Anyway, fantastic stuff. Fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, this is hands down their best album, Metallica and Justice for All. Brilliant. You have people that, prefer their newer stuff, and of course, people that, they swear by, like Kill 'Em All or, the super, super early stuff. But for me, this is it. And Justice for All, man. You can't beat that. Roberta Flack, First Take. Brilliant. This is one of the true, true tragedies. I place it right up there with Nick Drake. For a career that was just cut incredibly short. Morphine. Um, man. This no. This is Yes. It's called Yes. The band is not Yes. The album is Yes. Morphine. Yes. Ugh. For some nerdcore, MC Frontalot, Question Bedtime. Very fun album. Very fun. As far as world music, this is one of my absolute favorite albums. Scandinavian music. Hednin Garna Hipjok. I know I'm going to offend a lot of my Scandinavian friends out there. Ooh, I gotta hurry. This is almost 20 minutes. Shakira, I love her. This self-titled, her 2014 album. I love her. One of my absolute favorite albums, probably top 5. Torch of the Mystics by Sun City Girls. Brilliant, brilliant. Kind of experimental rock, basically. Possibly the best live album, Jean-Michel Jarre. Someone recently corrected me. I had said Jarre. I said no, it's not. It's not Jarre. It's Jarre. So this is in concert Houston Lion. Fantastic. Oh, if I could have seen that, man, amazing. Speaking of amazing, this is a fantastic band. Canna, New Sacred Cow. Again, representative of them. I think they do have a better album, but you can't go wrong with that one either. Placebo, Mainline. Yeah, love Placebo. Jason Isbell, sort of outlaw country, and this is Sirens of the Ditch. Oh, so good. I'm a big fan of Gwen Stefani, and this is Love Angel Music Baby. And the song Hollaback Girl is just infectious. And last but not least, another shout out to Mr. Brendan James of the vinyl community. Earthbound, Ambient and Soundscape Works, Volume 4. And it's very dark ambient soundscape, so fantastic stuff. Very good. Anyway, whew, that was far from a quick and dirty video. My goodness. But Brad, you wanted it, and I did a lot of digging last night. A lot of digging. And at least one that I wasn't able to find was I don't know if it's pronounced Dalek or Dalek. I think it's Dalek. Um, uh, Left field hip hop um, artist. Just fantastic album. So, something about abandoned language or something like that is the title of that album. Brilliant stuff. It opened my eyes to a whole genre that I wasn't aware of. So anyway, whew, wow. Cheers to you, Brad. Thank you for the request. And if anybody else, if you stuck around, if anybody else has a request for a video, by all means, uh, put it in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. But cheers to you. I detect it's starting to warm up a little bit. We're supposed to have a high of 61 today, so anyway, whew, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.